Hello and welcome to Quiz Class. I'm your host, Ellen, and today we have 100 questions on general knowledge. Make sure you are keeping score so you can tell us how well you did with our Quiz Class Einstein Awards. And also make sure to tell us in the comments the answer to the bonus question. And let's begin. Which city is home to Graceland, Elvis's home? Nashville, Austin, or Memphis? Memphis. What kind of food scene is Memphis famous for? Blues-inspired food, vegan meals, or seafood dishes? Blues-inspired food. Which city has funky house bars on Rainy Street? Denver, Austin, or Chicago? Austin. What type of weather makes Austin enjoyable year-round? Cold, warm, or rainy? Warm. New Orleans is known for which style of cuisine? Tex-Mex, Creole and Cajun, or Italian? Creole and Cajun. Which chef once hosted Minute to Win It? Guy Fieri, David Chang, or Gordon Ramsay? Guy Fieri. Wolfgang Puck began his culinary career in which year? 1973, 1983, or 1965? 1973. Julia Child's famous cookbook was titled what? Cooking with Passion, Mastering the Art of French Cooking, or The Joy of French Meals? Mastering the Art of French Cooking. Which Netflix series stars David Chang? Ugly Delicious, The Chef Show, or Chef's Table? Ugly Delicious. We are on question 10. Who developed the theory of electromagnetic waves? Michael Faraday, James Clerk Maxwell, or Heinrich Hertz? James Clerk Maxwell. The theory of continental drift was proposed by whom? Alfred Wegener, Charles Lyell, or Marie Curie? Alfred Wegener. What kind of animal is Winnie the Pooh? A rabbit, a pig, or a bear? A bear. In The Little Mermaid, what is the mermaid's name? Belle, Ariel, or Aurora? Ariel. Who are the main characters in Hansel and Gretel? Two elves, two children, or two giants? Two children. What color is the hat of the Cat in the Hat? Red and white, blue and white, or green and yellow? Blue and white. In Peter Pan, who is the fairy that helps Peter? Wendy, Tinkerbell, or Daisy? Tinkerbell. What animal is the main character in Charlotte's Web? A pig, a spider, or a mouse? A pig. Who helps Cinderella go to the ball? The queen, the witch, or her fairy godmother? Fairy godmother. Which city has the gigantic Biltmore estate? Savannah, Asheville, or Memphis? Asheville. Moving on to question 20. The Biltmore estate was once home to which family? The Vanderbilts, the Kennedys, or the Rockefellers? The Vanderbilts. Which drive is called one of the most scenic in the world? Route 66, Atlantic Drive, or Pacific Coastal Drive? Pacific Coastal Drive. What kind of accommodation is suggested at Redwood National Park? Green Turquoise, View Crest Lodge, or Beach Resort? View Crest Lodge. What scenery defines Glacier National Park? Deserts, volcanoes, or snow-capped mountains? Snow-capped mountains. What is the best way to stay overnight in Glacier Park? Camping, treehouse, or luxury hotel? Camping. Which Colorado city has both mountains and city life? Miami, San Diego, or Denver? Denver. Which lake borders the city of Chicago? Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, or Lake Erie? Lake Michigan. In the Jungle Book, who raised Mowgli? Bears, tigers, or wolves? Wolves. What happens when you kiss a frog in the fairy tale? He vanishes, he turns into a prince, or he becomes gold? He turns into a prince. Who is the author of the Chronicles of Narnia? C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien, or L. Frank Baum? C.S. Lewis. And we are at question 30. Who lives in the 100-Acre Wood? Paddington Bear, Winnie the Pooh, or Peter Rabbit? Winnie the Pooh. What is the name of the wooden boy who wanted to be real? Jiminy, Pinocchio, or Geppetto? Pinocchio. What fruit did Snow White eat? Cherry, apple, or grape? Apple. Who is Dorothy's dog in The Wizard of Oz? Benji, Max, or Toto? Toto. Who wrote Matilda? Beatrix Potter, Roald Dahl, or Enid Blyton? Roald Dahl. Which car debuted in 1963 and became a muscle icon? The Lincoln Continental, Pontiac GTO, or Chrysler 300C? The Pontiac GTO. What special feature did the 1961 Lincoln Continental have? Suicide doors, a turbocharged engine, or a hybrid system? Suicide doors. The Shelby Cobra's top speed reached approximately what? 210 miles per hour, 165 miles per hour, or 80 miles per hour? (165 miles per hour). Which car was built as a rival to the Corvette? The Ford Thunderbird, the Shelby Cobra, or the Ford GT40? The Ford Thunderbird. What unique feature did the 1959 Cadillac Eldorado have? Dual exhaust, giant tail fins, or roof spoiler? Giant tail fins. And we are at question 40. What nickname is famously given to New York City? The Windy City, the Big Easy, or the City That Never Sleeps? The City That Never Sleeps. Natchez is known for which type of historical buildings? Colonial forts, Victorian theaters, or 19th century homes? 19th century homes. What natural feature borders the city of Natchez? The Mississippi River, the Colorado River, or the Hudson River? The Mississippi River. What makes Savannah's Civil War history unique? It became a battlefield, it escaped destruction, or it was the first attacked. It escaped destruction. What type of museum in Nashville explores the state's history? The Tennessee State Museum, the Art Museum, or the Civil Rights Museum? The Tennessee State Museum. San Francisco is close to which forest park? Yosemite, Muir Woods, or Redwood? Muir Woods. Which model marked the start of the automobile era? The Ford Model T, the Chevrolet Bel Air, or the Buick Riviera? The Ford Model T. The Ford GT40 was powered by which engine type? Inline 6, V8, or rotary? The V8. The Shelby Cobra originated from upgrading which British car? AC Ace, the Austin Healey, or the MG Midget? The AC Ace. What made the 1955 Ford Thunderbird instantly popular? Convertible design and V8 engine, rear spoiler and fuel injection, or all-wheel drive system? Convertible design and V8 engine. We have reached question 50. Tell us how you're doing so far. The Cadillac Eldorado pioneered which type of technology? Power windows and signaling radio, regenerative braking, or fuel injection? Power windows and signaling radio. Which American car had the iconic Judge package? The Pontiac GTO, Ford GT40, or the Lincoln Continental? The Pontiac GTO. Where was Jesus born? Nazareth, Bethlehem, or Mecca? Bethlehem. Which Greek philosopher was a student of Socrates? Dante, Pluto, or Confucius? Plato. Who wrote the epic poem Paradise Lost? Thomas Jefferson, Francis Bacon, or John Milton? John Milton. St. Paul is often considered second only to whom in Christianity? Jesus, Martin Luther, or John Locke? Jesus. Which Chinese philosopher emphasized ethics and moral order? Socrates, Confucius, or Plato? Confucius. Thomas Jefferson drafted which historic document? The Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution or the Magna Carta? The Declaration of Independence. Martin Luther began which major religious movement? The Counter-Reformation, the Protestant Reformation, or the Crusades? The Protestant Reformation. Francis Bacon served as Lord Chancellor of which country? France, England, or Italy? England. Question 60. Which philosopher is linked to modern political liberalism? John Locke, Aristotle, or Confucius? John Locke. Which ancient philosopher was the teacher of Alexander the Great? Socrates, Dante, or Aristotle? Aristotle. Who founded the Academy, one of the first higher learning institutions? Francis Bacon, Plato, or John Milton? Plato. Which poet's most famous work is the Divine Comedy? Martin Luther, John Locke, or Dante? Dante. Who taught through questioning, known as the Socratic method? Socrates, Confucius, or Aristotle? Socrates. What was St. Paul's main contribution to Christianity? He translated the Bible, he spread Jesus' teachings through letters, or he built churches across Europe. He spread Jesus' teachings through letters. Which philosopher's ideas shaped Chinese government for centuries? Aristotle, Confucius, or John Locke? Confucius. Thomas Jefferson served as which number president of the U.S.? The fifth, the third, or the first? The third. Who translated the Bible into German to reach common people? Martin Luther, Francis Bacon, or John Milton? Martin Luther. What did Francis Bacon advocate for in scientific study? Empirical observation and experimentation, religious miracles, or myth and tradition? Empirical observation and experimentation. Question 70. John Locke believed in which natural rights? Truth, virtue, and honor, life, liberty, and property, or wealth, order, and faith? Life, liberty, and property. Which poet was exiled from Florence for political reasons? Dante, Aristotle, or Milton? Dante. Where is the colorful Caño Cristales River located? Brazil, Colombia, or Peru? Colombia. The Giant's Causeway was formed by what natural process? Glacial movement, water erosion, or volcanic activity? Volcanic activity. What makes the chocolate hills in the Philippines brown in their dry season? Volcanic ash, grass turning brown, or dust storms? Grass turning brown. What creates rainbows at Skogafoss waterfall in Iceland? Reflections off of glaciers, mist from hot springs, or spray from the waterfall? Spray from the waterfall. The Tianzi Mountains in China inspired landscapes from which movie? The Lion King, Avatar, or Mulan? Avatar. How did the Fly Geyser in Nevada form? Human drilling error, volcanic eruption, or earthquake faulting? Human drilling error. Thor's Well in Oregon appears to be what? A frozen lake, a bottomless sinkhole, or a lava crater? A bottomless sinkhole. Where is the bubblegum pink Lake Hillier located? India, Australia, or Canada? Australia. Question 80. What causes the colorful spots in Canada's spotted lake? Algae, bacteria, or minerals? Minerals. Pamukkale in Turkey is known for what type of formations? Hot spring terraces, coral reefs, or sandstone arches? Hot spring terraces. What gives Mazazir Lake in Azerbaijan its pink hue? Dust particles, microorganisms, or coral deposits? Microorganisms. The Marble Caves, also called the Marble Cathedral, are located in which country? Italy, Greece, or Chile? Chile. What fashion item was popular in the 1950s? Miniskirts, halter tops, or bell bottoms? Halter tops. What style dominated the early 1960s? Matching coats and dresses, overalls, or ripped jeans? Matching coats and dresses. Who made pillbox hats famous in 1962? Audrey Hepburn, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, or Marilyn Monroe? Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. Which 1960s icon inspired panel dresses and boots? Jackie Kennedy, Twiggy, or Cher? Twiggy. What clothing item became a hit in 1967? Hoodies, miniskirts, or cargo pants? Miniskirts. What 1968 fashion was inspired by a movie? Grease with their jackets, Bonnie and Clyde styles, or Casablanca hats? Bonnie and Clyde styles. What style defined early 1970s fashion? Ripped jeans, hippie pants and mod shirts, or denim jackets? Hippie pants and mod shirts. Question 91. Which music genre influenced 1973 fashion? Grunge, disco, or punk? Disco. What unisex fashion item was common in 1974? Suits, crop tops, or hoodies? Suits. What subculture defined 1979 style? Punk, retro glam, or hippie? Punk. What look started the 1980s? Earth tones, bright colors, or denim suits? Bright colors. What 1985 trend varied in length? Scarves, skirts, or blazers? Skirts. What replaced real fur in 1989 fashion? Velvet, faux fur, or suede? Faux fur. What 1990s clothing item became a fashion staple? Overcoats, jackets, or capes? Jackets. What is the famous prehistoric site in Wiltshire? Stonehenge, Hadrian's Wall, or Dover Castle? Stonehenge. Where can you see the Roman baths? York, Bath, or Cambridge? Bath. And question 100. What is the name of London's giant observation wheel? The London Eye, Tower Bridge, or the Shard? The London Eye. And for our bonus question, what is the capital of Chile? Let us know the answer in the comments, and of course, how well you did with our quiz class Einstein Rewards. Thanks for playing, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.